Welcome to Cultivating Authentic Universal Energy, exploring energy through mediumship, psychic abilities, Reiki, crystals, and more. This podcast is created based on the concept that everything is energy, everything and everyone are connected. Your hosts are Lisa Miliaresis and Michele Belcastro. Lisa has written about her psychic medium awakening and is comfortable with many facets of energy. Lisa believes energy work is very exciting and should be embraced in a safe way. Michele grew up as a sensitive, intuitive, and now creates a safe space for community to gather and develop their spiritual talents. Their two unique perspectives are joined to assist listeners of all levels to broaden their understanding. This will be a series of podcasts that will enhance and fine-tune our energetic connections.
I can hear her well. Hi.
How's it going, Lisa?
Frustrating a little bit, just a tad.
Just a tad?
Just a tad, because it goes with our topic anyway.
All right, so we decided that we were going to do a podcast on this current Mercury retrograde. What does it, or what can it mean for us? And just basically talk about Mercury retrogrades, period. And we had, this is take 2, because we had an
electronic issue. Did the whole podcast and it didn't record. So
here we are.
Which is so typical of things that happen during this time.
Okay, so I want to talk about that specifically. Okay, so Mercury retrograde has gotten a really bad rap.
Yes.
It really has. And yes, we totally get it that they can be super difficult. This one is kicking me square in the pants really bad. But we're checking our backup to our backup. And yes, Mercury rules our communication. So anytime you have Mercury retrograde, a lot of times our verbal communications, our email communications, our mail, our electronics, all of that can get messed up.
Go haywire.
Totally. But let's talk about this a little bit, okay? Sure. So the perception is that Mercury retrograde is bad.
But you have another theory about that, or understanding, I should say.
How about just a different perspective? Okay, so anytime that we have a retrograde, it's asking us to look within. Mm-hmm. All right, so okay, let me back up one step and say that Mercury doesn't actually go backwards in the sky. It appears to move backwards in the sky, so it's just a perception,
an illusion
from where we are. But okay, so it doesn't actually move backwards, but what it does is it asks us to look within, and one, use self-awareness. 2, so retrograde starts with RE, and we want to look at the REs in our life. Are there things that we need to redo or reassess, replan if we're in the midst of a project?
Or re-record.
Is it this? Re-record, yes, absolutely. Or maybe even release.
Yeah.
Okay, so typically these are not comfortable times for any of us when Mercury is in retrograde, but it doesn't mean you have to stop your life. It's asking you to pause, to slow down, to reflect.
Right. And I had an experience just last night. I was trying to open up an online bank account and filled out all the information that I needed to fill out. And then it got to a point where it says asking you to identify that you're a human and not a computer or something else. So put in the little code. It just would not submit. And you just do it 20 times, would not submit. So I had to step away, take a time out, come back to it, and then it worked. So I think that's really something that we can all do at times if we're not, matter of life and death. Take a pause.
Yep.
Get a reset and don't be reactive.
Exactly. This is about patience. This is about being able to sit and witness what's happening in your life and assess from an authentic place does this work for me the way things are going? Does it really resonate with me? Is it really authentic? Does this make me happy?
Right. And you were saying to me earlier that each retrograde, as they come a couple times a year, are in different zodiac signs.
Exactly. So this one right now is in Capricorn, and it'll go back into Sagittarius, and then it'll end up going direct in Capricorn. So what this means is, and I am not an astrologer by profession. I am a geek who enjoys researching different things and why things are impacting me. So Capricorn is the 10th house of the zodiac. It is ruled by Saturn. So we're looking at structure, social structures, personal structures, the way we think, the way we plan. It can be our professional lives. So not everybody has Capricorn in the 10th house. You'll find that you have Capricorn somewhere in your natal chart. And you would be looking at those characteristics in whatever that place is,
Sure.
right? So we all can relate to Capricorn
Qualities.
characteristics. Yep. Thank you. Even though we aren't all Capricorns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Capricorn. I am like the epitome of a Capricorn. Structure, organization, planning, loyalty.
Makes a good partner.
And I can go both ways of the pendulum swing on that. Anyway, so at this point, what's happening is we need to look at some of our long-term plans, our long-term commitments as a Capricorn, right? So are the things that we're doing that we have committed ourselves to, are they making us happy?
So it's actually not a bad thing if you think about it. If you stop a couple times a year when they have retrograde, I don't know how many times, maybe
3 or
2
4.
or 3. But then you stop and you do a little reflection. I mean, that's actually not a bad thing.
What's difficult, and especially in this particular case, is like the results are unclear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want a plan. I want structure. So when things are unclear, it's really, really uncomfortable. We don't, Capricorns, most humans, we don't like change.
Well, that's when we were talking a little bit about, what was that, surrender and giving up?
Yes. Yes. That is a topic for a whole other podcast. But yes, we
you do need to surrender with faith, I believe.
That is the difference, right?
Yes.
Of saying, okay, well, my plan isn't going the way I wanted it to. Can I take a step back? Can I look at my plans?
Mm-hmm.
Reassess? Are there some shifts that need to be made?
And in the event that you weren't able to take a step back and you put your foot in your mouth, forgive yourself, because it could just be, that's what's going to happen during this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, right now we're in Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. As Mercury continues to retrograde through, okay, so I'll give you the good news. We'll be out of retrograde the 1st or 2nd of January.
I'm going to hold this closer to you because we have some interference today with the people doing the lawn.
Just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to be out of the Mercury retrograde the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Okay, which is great news, because here we are at the end of the year. We're re-looking things, we're reassessing things, and it gives us an opportunity to see like where we really want to be for 2024. But between now and then, as Mercury retrogrades into Sagittarius, if any of you are traveling for the holidays, which you know can already be difficult, you need to really be on top of your travel plans.
Yeah.
Because Sagittarius is all about travel, and Mercury retrograde is all about the pause.
Right. And as we were mentioning earlier, but that was in the recording you didn't hear. even when there's a full moon, or even if there's a new moon, or if there is a retrograde, there is the pre and the post feelings that you get from that. So I know I sense it more in the beforehand.
Yep. Yep. So, like for me, I do think that this was creeping up on me for about a week. I've had issues at the shop with my electronic inventory syncing between two systems, and I thought I had it fixed-ish. I was working on fixing it and it broke again. So I just have had to say, okay, I'm not fixing you again. I am going to put a couple of band-aids on the system and hope that that's good enough for right now and move forward until I can move forward after the retrograde.
Yeah, you can take a break. Yeah, take a break with it.
Yeah,
or break it, one or the other, right?
It's already broken. It's already broken. But again, as a Capricorn, I like law and order. Right. Okay, that's it. It's structure,
well, I'm
order.
a Pisces, so that kind of is a little bit opposite, isn't it?
Pisces is more Pisces. They might like law and order, but not like a Capricorn.
Not like a Capricorn.
No, we're rigid. We're rigid. But the beautiful thing about each of our signs is we are not just that, right? Just because we identify with a particular sun sign doesn't mean that we aren't influenced by the entire zodiac. We have a rising sign, we have a sun sign, and we have a moon sign that shows all of our characteristics in a different way.
I mean, it's amazing, astrology. And like you said, I don't know it. And I think that people who study it for years even say they don't know everything about astrology because it's just so vast.
It is such a huge topic. And it doesn't matter. I spent a couple of years studying evolutionary astrology. It was fascinating. I wish I could really dive more into it, but I've realized that I can't be a jack of all trades. I just can't. So when something piques my interest, I dive into it because I'm kind of geeky that way. And then, I back off until there's something else that really interests me.
You know what? You're following your direction. And I love that because then if you think about that and you think about where you are, I mean, you are the guardian of the shop, that you have the violet butterfly, but you also help other people with different modalities connect with each other in a community. So that makes sense to me that you would be dabbling.
Absolutely. I can at least speak some of the language, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. It always works out perfectly.
All right. So all of this to say, there's a lot of opportunity that we have during Mercury retrogrades throughout the year to assess the things in our lives that are working or not working. And because there's that pause and that request to look within, we also have the opportunity to work on our psychic abilities or our intuition, however you want to word that.
That's a nonstop for me. I love that. That to me, intuition and energy work is like eating. That's how much it's part of my practice. But I believe what Michelle's saying is during these times where it's so much in your face, it's a very good opportunity to have that almost like a leap of faith that you know that everything's going to work out okay, and surrender a little bit if it's getting to be too much for you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just kind of growled a little bit. All right. So we, before we sat down to record this the first time, we pulled cards. We pulled cards the first time we recorded this. And of course, we like to pull cards. It's a great way of getting different validations of what it is that we are going through and we're talking about. So these cards are as much for us as they are for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. The cards that we are pulling from right today are the Flower Therapy Oracle cards. This is the top of the deck.
For those that are on YouTube and can see.
Yeah. All right. So, wow, these are.
I have the perfect ones for the podcast. I swear.
Okay.
But go ahead, you
all
share
right.
first.
All right. So the first one I pulled was chakra clearing, and it's the lotus. So if anybody knows anything about a lotus, it has a difficult job getting from the bottom of the muddy environment in which it's planted to come up to the surface of the water. So kind of think of this as sometimes we have to go through that murky, icky feeling stuff for us to be able to have the sun shine on us.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
So this is particularly talking about clearing your chakras. You open yourself up to profound wisdom. So the lotus is the symbol of that. The next one is you are lovable. Wow, what a nice reminder. Love who you are as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. So this is a reminder to listen to your authentic self about what feels good, what does not feel good. So, in the time of this Mercury retrograde, or any time, when you take a pause and you check in with yourself, does this really resonate with me? Does this make me feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is new idea. Your new idea is divinely guided and is meant to be shared with others. Continue to work on it as you are on the right path.
Always guided.
Always guided. So some of you probably know this new idea that Lisa and I have launched, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. So I picked 3 cards. My intention was, what does everybody need to hear? And when the first one I picked was a bromeliad, which is a beautiful flower, and it says to be positive. It says your thoughts can shape your experience, so be sure to focus on the positive. And I would say that's truly accurate, even when things are not working out for you, as if maybe there was a problem in that retrograde. Try and stay positive with it. Take a step back. If you can't go positive, go neutral. And if you need a little help being positive, find something to appreciate even within the crazy. So that's one thing. That's the first card. The second card, which I love so much, is the bleeding heart, and it says emotional healing at the top. So what are we doing? We're healing our emotions. It is safe for you to let go of old emotional pain. By doing so, you allow your heart to mend. It's that forgiveness, that release, that surrender, and be kind to yourself during the same time. And I think also the card that you had, the Be Lovable card, it's about self-love.
Yep.
So with this too, with the emotional healing and forgiveness, it's about self-love. You have to love yourself and release. And then the third card that I got was the patience card, which I could always use a reminder to be patient. But it says on it, your prayers have been heard and they are being answered. So be patient with that. Be patient if you don't see your manifestations right away. Know that if a kerfluffle happens during retrograde, just keep your eye on that intention and the eye on the prize, and just take one step forward and just know that it's going to work out in the end.
Yeah, great.
So
super validating all of it. That don't let the retrograde get you.
Right, or the appearance of what you think is happening in front of you.
Because it's not always what it seems.
No.
Just because you look up in the sky and it looks like retrograde is going backwards, it's not going backwards.
No.
It just looks like it is. All right. So for those of you that haven't seen any of our notices yet, or have heard anything about our retreat, Lisa and I have a retreat that we are scheduled to put on. Sorry, I'm losing my words now. I was fine before.
April 19th through the 21st in 2024.
Yes. So next year, next spring, we'll be hosting our care retreat, which is focusing on achieving balance through authenticity. We'll be working on intuition development.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And as you start to work on different enhancements or exercises, you become aware of things that you never knew that you had the ability to do.
Yeah.
So it brings things up, it stirs them up and lets you embrace them so that you can go on with additional intentions that you have in your own experience. So it's not just what we say we're going to bring to you, but it's what you bring to the retreat, and it just all comes together.
Yep. We're just holding the space for magic to happen. So we'll be having that at the Safety Harbor Resort and Spa in Safety Harbor, Florida. That's so exciting.
So I can't wait. Come join us.
We'll be posting more information about that soon. So aside from that, how about you guys let us know what kind of experiences you've had with Mercury retrograde, and if you know where your Capricorn is in your natal chart, how is it impacting your life?
Yeah, put a post on the Facebook page or shoot us an email, whatever is easier for you.
Awesome.
I think on YouTube you can also add a comment.
Cool. Well, we look forward to it.
All right.
Till next time.
Stay present and enjoy.
Thank you for listening. We'd love to hear from you about your experiences. Leave us a comment below. You can find more information about Lisa and her offerings on her website, 2communicate.net. Michelle's shop is the Violet Butterfly Metaphysical Healing Center in Palm Harbor, Florida. You can find more information at thevioletbutterfly.mhc.com, including the online store.